Hi, I'm Denise Cusack, and I'm presenting my dual permaculture design certificate for the Women's Permaculture Guild. My mentor is Penny Kribel. So first, a little bit about myself. I'm a clinical herbalist and aromatherapist. I volunteer at free clinics. I'm the executive director of Herbalists Without Borders, and I'm on the board of the American Herbalist Guild, and I'm for us. So I work a lot in health justice and food justice, which is what a lot of this work is about. Lunar Hollow is our family farm, and United Plant Savers Botanical Sanctuary, where we do this work. I'm also a medicinal herb grower, an artist, writer, educator, mom to 2 homeschooling kids, and our Lunar Hollow farm is me, my husband, my 2 teenagers, dogs, cats, and chickens. So our vision here at Lunar Hollow is to integrate family, homestead, livelihood, volunteer work, education, and community building into our future here as a family. Since there's no way to present the full presentation of everything in my social permaculture and permaculture design of many acres and everything that we're doing here, please make sure to download the PDF. And I'm going to go over just the brief overview. Our goals, basically, we're a family small holding. We're looking at herbal education, mutual aid projects, multi-generational living, botanical sanctuary, livelihood, guest space for visitors in classroom, more energy efficiency over time, and having reduced our waste and have a beautiful and more functional life. The site overview here at Lunar Hollow Farm, we're in South Central Wisconsin in Deerfield. We're on the land of the Ho-Chunk in an area that was originally called Koshkonong Village. So to start with, let's look at our base map. Our base map is what we have today. The top is a satellite view. The bottom is the actual drawn map. We started already on some of this because we started when I started my PDC classwork. So our map is to scale, showing our 2-acre lot with house, outbuildings, rural dead end road, and our slight slope of up to 16% in certain areas from east to west. Base map includes the initial gardens that we've started, the greenhouse, small orchards, chicken coop. Our solar panels are not yet installed, but they're literally on the roof right now as I'm recording this. So if you hear a bang, there's my solar panels. We evaluated the property when we were moving here for many elements, including native plants and trees, seeing who lived here before, how they took care and stewarded the land, and what was in place. So as you can see, the top satellite image was before 2018 when we moved here. So there are no gardens, but there are trees and other things that are planted. And the bottom is after our second growing season here, when I had started my PDC and we had already started integrating some of our greenhouse gardens and orchards. So what we included so far that we began since I started my PDC class was things such as, like I said, the front and the back orchard, perennial medicinals, mushroom logs, woodland endangered botanicals, chicken coop, greenhouse, compost, raised beds, and other items. So on our property, Zone 0 is our main home, which includes the community apothecary, a lot of our mutual aid work, the office, homeschooling and art space, our home life, our seed bank storage, donation management, 3D printer, ceramics studio, and all of our daily living items that we do. Zone 1 includes all around the house into the main gardens and chicken coop. Zone 2 is our dog walking area where we have orchards, prairie, restored prairie, and other elements. Zone 3 is our back food forest and outbuildings, compost, fire pit, windscreen. Zone 4 is our rural dead end road where we walk the dog and forage. And Zone 5 is the deep woods off trail where we go in the winter when there's no ticks. Our sectors included evaluating wildlife, our farm easement. We do have a farmer who has access through our property to access his fields. And many of our neighbors lose their animals like chickens and quail and things regularly to raccoons, mink, fox, coyote, owl. So we were evaluating also paths that these animals take so that we can protect our food, crops, and our animals. We also live here in Zone 5A. In addition to animal patterns, we evaluated, winds and climate and storms and all of that. We live where the springs can be, we can have a late frost or freeze in late May. Summer can be 118, where in the autumn we have variable hot and cold. In the winter, it can get to be 40 below zero wind chills. So we have a very drastic and just, wildly varying seasons. In evaluating our solar sectors, we not only looked at all the different seasonal light, sunlight, and where things would be shaded or not for our plantings, but also where we would put the chicken coop so that they have full shade in the summer to help reduce their heat stress, and so that we could evaluate exactly our solar potential. We originally thought our solar system would not be able to be installed for up to 5 years. We're very happy that we're installing it today. And, because we had done this evaluation and determined that we have significant solar here and that it was a potential thing for us. Our water, I live in the Midwest, the upper Midwest in the Great Lakes region. We actually have abundant fresh water. We're 1/5 of all of the surface water on the planet is in our area. We have abundant snow and rain. We have a high, great water table. We have streams and lakes everywhere. But we do realize that impact of climate change in the future might change that. So we do have plans to better optimize our use of water, including rainwater harvesting. Our water plan includes those rain barrel installation, gravity fed irrigation systems that go down. We also have irrigation coming off of our actual faucets and all of that on our home. And we utilize an Eve faucet controller, irrigation timers, programmable timing to water all plantings when there's not been enough rain. And we're going to utilize gravity and elevated rain barrel systems in order to also use our rainwater to irrigate. We also have in this plan passive solar heating through rain barrels in our greenhouse. When we first were looking to move here, we assessed the property. We continue to do so, of course. We were looking for great water quality, no flood zone, high-speed internet, because we both work from home and we homeschool, that we are near emergency services. There's a town with some infrastructure, library, a cafe, no traffic, no neighbors, no HOA, no weed control used here previously, good sun for solar potential, home office, space was important, but also like a separate entrance, a potential classroom in the future, and then a potential adult apartment for adult kids. This house met all of that. Our site assessment also included soil quality. There's a history of monocropping in Wisconsin with soy and corn, as well as some wheat and oats, but we have had no monocropping on this property for over 14 years. We're near major infrastructure for emergency services and a highway system. We have a very deep well with no dairy runoff. We have a lot of work-life possibilities here. Natural wood floors, great interior, amazing views, quiet dead-end road, no crazy neighbors, and nearby a small town with snowmobile and biking trails. So we felt this was a great match for our needs. So when we're looking at the plan, our components include current and future components, progressing from 2020 and 21, when we first started talking about, working in my PDC class, all the way up to 5 years and beyond, including expanding all of our food forest, plant conservation, medicinals, outdoor classroom guest space, and multi-generational use, in addition to the mutual aid programs that we have. We have our components broken out also by timeline so that we can expand gradually and add items that cost a lot of money slowly over time and implement systems that require minimal maintenance and have smart systems so that we can maintain them in the future. Having a smart home is a big part of this because we are a high technology need family having work and school at home. We also want to reduce our energy and water usage as well as our waste by installing a lot of smart tools such as smart thermostats, water systems, water controllers, LED lighting, auto on-off switches, motion sensing tools, and automation set on time or daylight. We can reduce our workload, but also, in addition to reducing our actual energy usage. So we're continuing to switch everything in the house over to smart controls so that we can better manage all of our home from smartphones, including irrigation lights and more. A big part of that smart system is, of course, this solar plan. This solar plan has been approved. They're literally on my roof as I'm recording this. If you hear a bang, that is them. As you can see from the system specifications, we'll have an 11.85 kilowatt system with battery storage and a switch so that we can utilize the solar energy when it's sunny, draw from the grid when it's not, and can continue to operate even when the power grid is down with the battery system. This will provide 100% of our needs over the course of the year. In February, it may be less, but in July, we'll produce excess. So we have many elements to our plan and our property. Utilizing the way that we do this by optimizing labor and time will not only help us with an aging parents here, but also implementing structures that look beautiful, that work, and that are manageable and maintainable with the people that we have here. In looking at that also, a lot of the social systems work and our mutual aid work that we do here requires resources. So we need to have a plan for that. Our main income provider is my husband, who works from home as a software engineer. I also have a part-time income from nonprofit and design work. I plan to expand my income stream to include classes, art, and writing, so that the income that comes in covers all of this work, this volunteer work, and all these products. It costs a lot of money to keep things going, including the seed saving library, growing herbs for free clinics. With a high health needs person in our home as well, we have to be very careful, especially during a pandemic. So we're looking at how can we optimize and have alternate revenue streams to keep this work going. Some of the potential revenue streams that we've identified are teaching online classes, like I said, or guest teaching at topics in other areas, modular classes online, subscription-based communities, writing books and articles, selling prints and artwork, selling medicinal herbs, potentially getting a certified kitchen in this space to make products, or starting a small seed business. All of that is, our goals for our home, our life, our family, our school, our community, our volunteer work. It's all integrated. Our systems have to be integrated because this is a life. We want all of our life to actually complement itself. So we have incorporated earth care, such as smart home solar panels, regenerative methods, waste reduction, community care, such as growing herbs for free clinics, seed grants, community apothecary, mutual aid, people care, such as a healthy family home, meeting the needs of our high-risk family, growing our own food, self-care, including making room for family, art, sanctuary space, education, handwork, family time, and also finding a way to have monetary support in business for this work so that we don't feel devalued or underappreciated in all of the service work that we do. So we see our farm, family, and home as a central base radiating outward. Everything has to be connected. It's a social system. Our whole life is a social system. So all of these are not silos, but petals, radiating outwards, connected yet independent. All of our work to leverage our privilege is to share supplies, service, seeds, herbs, education, technical advice, assistance, empowerment, opportunities. Our home life, family life, and work from home life has to balance out in everything that we do, including all of these different components. It all is based on the idea of community support, reciprocity, equity, sacred economics, and other contributions to life and social systems. Our home and family isn't separate then, so it's a part of this fully embedded system. These pieces might look different, but they're actually interconnected. We grow seedlings and plants for free clinics. We save those seeds for a garden next year as well for seed libraries and seed sharing. We share seeds so others can grow herbs in their own community. We teach other people how to do this work so that they can recreate this in their own areas. So it's all interdependent and works together. It's all based on mutual aid so that we can utilize support work and projects that create sustainable models throughout the world. The reciprocity and right relationships are in supplies, seeds, education, knowledge, and it means that we also look outward as we radiate outward because we want people to continue to share their knowledge as they build their own capacities and recreate this in every community. We base this work out of a central community apothecary. I call it the U.S. Community Apothecary and Seed Bank that is here at Lunar Hollow Farm. We intake donations from around the country and we redistribute them out to free clinics, to gardens, to different places around the country and the world. So we want it to be scalable based on need. So in looking at that, we have a few, I can give a few examples of the type of work we're doing. We don't have a lot of time to go in depth, but a few systems include such as, the seed grant program. We grow herbs here for the free clinics. We save seeds, we redistribute seeds back out. Each of these orange boxes on each of these programs also shows what our goals are on social systems as well, and in things that are already in place. So seed rematriation or sharing culturally and regionally relevant seeds to groups around the country. So we can continue to expand this work as we go. We also have the community apothecary. So we intake donations, we redistribute them back out. We have herbs that we grow here for this. So the goals include expanding capacity, shipping to more free clinics, and also teaching others how to do this work themselves. We also have a few other projects such as the open source plant walk, growing herbs for free clinics, and mutual aid and community action. And those are also like, new or progressive work in progress. So in our plants and gardens, we have to create and maintain all these programs. And we work to preserve at-risk medicinals and educate others in this work as well. So in looking at our plants and gardens, there's too much to share in 20 minutes, but I can go over a brief overview. So we grow hundreds of plants here. One example here is our woodland medicinal lot. We've already started some basic woodland at-risk medicinals. We're going to continue to expand it. We have mushroom logs. We're going to continue to expand that. And we work to grow plants in both deciduous and coniferous forests. We're expanding orchard trees and bushes. We did a lot this year. We're underplanting them with plants such as lingonberry, thyme, Solomon seal. We're also encouraging the expansion of existing plants that are growing in grassy areas such as Veronica, violet, yarrow, clover, and more. We had landscape plantings when we moved in that were all natives, which was wonderful, but we're also expanding that to include a lot of medicinals that are perennial medicinals in this area. We also have a compost system where we're storing wild prairie in the easement where the farmer is. And we also have many other perennial medicinal beds that we're expanding. We have a certain area that's a little more consolidated for optimizing water use. And so that we have a space for people to be able to do self-guided tours in the future. We have a greenhouse, perennial beds, and annual beds as well. We also have a large medicinal triangle, and what we do is we've focused on planting aromatic herbs on the outside to help prevent deer and groundhogs and badgers and skunk and all of that from coming into the internal where we grow annual vegetables. So they're protective, it's beautiful, and we're going to incorporate our open plant source plant walk QR codes in the future for self-guided tours. Our front orchard is alternating bush and tree and native plants. We are underplanting all of those with even things like saffron, comfrey, Solomon seal. We have a front area where we have a buried downspout that releases into an area during the rainy season that becomes more wet than everywhere else. It's also one of our only flat areas on the property. I have a crescent design here to represent Lunar Hollow Farm as a moon, and it will have plants that like or will tolerate that wetness and give us some division and shelter from the road and offer a little sheltered area to the west that has more seating and can have shade in the summer as well. Second area on this is also a new fire pit plan nearest the gardens with a planting area surrounding gravel and brick edging, so it looks beautiful and is functional and can work as a partial outdoor space for my family and for visitors or interns. We have plans to build a drying shed. We're currently growing a lot of plants for free clinics using a commercial powered dehydrator, but having a drying shed that is outdoors that can be scaled up significantly, and also where we can use it as a part of our classroom here is in the plan. We also are looking at, because of the pandemic, having an outdoor classroom with utilizing a gazebo space that can be enclosed in mosquito season if necessary, but that also is near the fire pit, outdoor kitchen, the gardens, the drying shed, and all of that for classroom use. In looking at the outdoor kitchen, that is a plan in a few years. We're looking at not only a pizza oven, but also an open cooktop space so that we can teach classes on things like distilling hydrosols. We also, I have incorporated some of that idea here of some of those seating areas so that we have a space where people can gather, or if we have interns come and stay and do camping, or we have like a tiny home or something, then people can also have an outdoor space to sit. We also have a bee yard that will continue to expand. So with our plant species, we have over 600 species of plants already planted here. Every single year I grow more. I'm crazy about seeds and plants, so we're going to continue expanding that. In organizing our plants, what we did is I looked at what was here when we first moved in. I did an evaluation when we first moved, and I've been accumulating lists of any plants we found on our property. And then also adding every single thing that we've grown or planted in ground since then. So each of these systems shows whether we planted bare root or cultivated versus wild. In 2019 to 2020, that's when I started my PDC in 2020. So a lot of that is planted from this plan. And we continue to expand perennials, herbs, vegetables, all intermixed with everything. And so you can see 21 to 2022, we also are looking for expanding areas for grains and squash, vining perennials, more grains, a full dyer's garden, woodland plantings, wine cap mushrooms, and more, a bog garden, that crescent garden, and other built items that were shown. So when we're looking at this, we live in the country. We have wildlife everywhere. It's really important that we also look at how it impacts our daily life because, we live next to a 2,500 acre state natural area. We have mountain lion that has passed through. We have fox, coyote, fisher, mink, raccoon, possum, eagle, hawks, all of that. And so everything that we do, we want to live in harmony with the wildlife. But we also don't want them to eat everything that we're growing or kill our chickens. So we analyze that and are aware of all the species. all of the wildlife and our own animals here, we create a nutrient-rich cycle that feeds in our systems that helps perpetuate our food growing and our herbs growing and eggs from our chickens. So a lot of this, I'm to keep talking about my family. There are 4 of us here. It's all important that we listen to stakeholders and have their input as well when we're talking about what these systems are. So all of this can be a lot of work. This is also a long-term commitment. Are building our home for intergenerational, multi-generational living, and we all have our own needs. And, I know that a lot of this volunteer work, mutual aid work, it takes a full commitment from everyone involved. So, having a lot of input from people is really important. And that's also why we included things such as, a tiny home or an RV in the future, the pizza oven, pottery and 3D printer workshop space, home office, community apothecary, and also having areas where we can have adult children live, where they can have independence and have their own space, especially our high health needs person. So we have this broken out into phases. We have to do this work in phases in order to make it happen. So year 0 was 2020, the first year I started my PDC and where I had my initial plan. If you look at these, each orange box again is social systems goals versus planting, physical, and our medicinal and food goals. So the first year we expanded a lot, we worked on a lot, we got a lot of things established. Year 1 is 2021. That was this year where we were implementing things as I was continuing through the class. Our social systems includes, growing more and expanding a lot of our work. And we also kept expanding a lot of our actual infrastructure so that we can maintain this. Year 2, we have a lot of plans, but the main thing is that we keep implementing more expensive or larger milepost goals over time so that it's not too much. And we are implementing a lot of smart systems as we go, so the maintenance isn't overwhelming and isn't too much for us to manage. Year 3, we have additional systems and expansion that we want to continue to do, as well as year 4 and beyond. The great thing is we originally thought our solar system was going to be in this year 4, 2024 and beyond. And by working through this PDC work, evaluating everything, looking at our solar system, going out and getting information, we realized this is something we could do now, which is great. So one of the main reasons for spacing it out is not only for funds, but also so it's manageable, like I said. If it's too much work, it's going to overburden us. People aren't going to be happy. The important thing is using calendars, reminders, smart systems, automations, programmable elements. We can enjoy the results of our labor, expand and maintain in a manner that works for everybody and looks beautiful and contributes to the increasing value of the property and creating a home system that can be used into the future for everybody. Because in the end, our biggest goal, one of our biggest goals is to have a life we don't need a vacation from, that everything we do, we're fulfilled, rewarded, we give back to our community. Everything is about not only building capacity and being self-sustaining and sustainable for ourselves and reducing our own impact and waste, but also helping others do this as well. Lunar Hollow Farm isn't just a place. We want it to be an ideal that we envision for all of the generations to come for our family. So to find out more about this project, download the full PDF, which has all of the information, or visit lunarhollow.farm.